So again, we're Vibe Credit Union here in Southeast Michigan. We love working with our partners like the Oxford Parks and Rec and bringing you financial literacy, just as what we're going to talk about today, protecting your ID and online accounts and bank fraud. So Vibe Credit Union, we've opened up in 1936 as the employees of the Ameritech Michigan Bell companies back in the day, and we were known as Telecom for a long time, telecommunications, and then we changed our name to Vibe shortly before I joined 10 years ago. And then in 2019, we merged with Oakland County Credit Union, which now brings us to 15 branches, over 76,000 members, I believe, and over $1.4 billion in assets to be able to help our members meet their financial goals. So let's go ahead and get started. So in front of you, you have a pamphlet that Dawn was kind enough to make copies for. Second page has my information, and you will have Mary's information as well after today, in case you need to reach out to us with general questions. The third page got a picture of this very skeptical guy, Sketchy. Now, the FTC is the Federal Trade Commission. They are a branch of the government that's supposed to help protect us as consumers. They send out a snapshot out every year summarizing what we as consumers fall victim to. So last year in 2023, the top 5 scams were imposter scams, online shopping and negative reviews, prizes, sweepstakes type, investments, and business and job opportunities rounded up the top 5 of scams that they saw in 2023, which reported loss of over $10 billion to us as consumers. So again, they update this every year to kind of give you an idea of what's happening out there, and so that you can help protect yourself to avoid becoming a victim. Okay, next page. What we're going to discuss today: setting up accounts and how to do it safely. We're going to talk about authentication and what that means. Protecting your personal devices, your actual personal device, like I just had my laptop out. Staying safe and interacting on social media. Social media is a really big and popular thing right now, but there's a lot of ways that they can try to scam you that way as well. And then we're going to talk about some common scams that Mary sees in the branches that we still see in our communities. We have some tips and resources for you and what to do if you are a victim. Any questions? Am I talking too fast? Because I tend to do that. Fantastic. Okay, setting up accounts. I know sometimes it's very easy and you want to be able to do it very easily online. Here are some things to keep in mind. There are a lot of legitimate companies out there. Yes, there are. Amazon is a very popular company that we shop at for the convenience, to shop from the convenience of your own home, the privacy of your own home. Venmo is a popular site that people use to send money back and forth to people. You know, if I took you out to lunch and you wanted to pay me back for it, you didn't have to, but you could. You could Venmo me some money, but that requires opening an account with them and providing them your financial information. So you have to ask yourself, should I be doing this? Should I be putting my entire account number, routing number and account number, debit card number, whatever it is, on this account, be able to open it so I can use it, so I can interact with my family and friends? It's a personal choice, but there are risks involved in every decision that you make when it comes to opening accounts online. Also, because these companies are well known and they're big, popular, you can look them up on the internet, but they're also very easily copied and pasted for those fraudsters to then turn around and try to scam people, pretending that they are from Amazon or Venmo, right? Even the Vibe logo, because we have a website, right? We want to make it convenient for our members to come reach out to us. Even our logo can be copied and pasted on the internet. There's no protection, really, on the internet that will prevent you from copying and pasting anything, really. And so be cautious, like Mary said. Be weary of who it is that you're contacting, who it is that's contacting you and asking for information. Think before you click. That's what our IT team tells us all the time. Okay, so we're going to go into that. So setting up accounts means, you know, lots of things, user IDs and passwords. But here are some red flags. We're going to talk about these red flags that, again, if it doesn't feel right in your gut, something's not right. Don't act on it. You know, don't proceed with it. If it doesn't feel right, talk to somebody. Do your research first before you click something. The most obvious red flag is that somebody's sending you an urgent message. You got to do something right now. Your life depends on it. Well, really, it doesn't. You know, act now. Click on this right now for more information. We have a warrant out for your arrest. I'm so sorry. And the local police department will back me up on this. If there's a warrant for your arrest, they're not going to give you forewarning. Right? They're going to come to your house, surprise you, and put the cuffs on you. They're not going to give you advance notice and give you an opportunity to pay off said warrant. Okay, the police are going to, they just told us this last week up in Clarkston. They're like, we're not going to give you a heads up. Okay, so you should know if you were wanted by the police. You should know if you owe the IRS. Don't let someone call you and pretend that you do and scare you into acting. I'm sorry again, the IRS are not going to call you. They're way too busy. They will send you an official letter stating first if you owe the IRS. Then they'll give you an opportunity to write back and dispute it or do whatever you do, but it's always written. They're not going to call you. Okay. So there's always these offers that are out there. It's too good to be true, it is. If you want $1 million, why should you have to pay $100 to pay for administrative fee to get your $1 million? That doesn't feel right. It's not. Okay? There's some websites out there. Again, on the internet, you can copy and paste anything. You can make anything look legitimate, even if it's not. There's a symbol on the URL line, right where it says HTTPS, www, so on and so forth. There should be a little symbol of a lock, like a padlock. And that, if it's locked, you know, if you see that little symbol there, that should tell you that it's a secure website. You can also hover over any emails or any bubbles that pop up, hover over that URL, hover over that email, and it should tell you what the actual URL address is. If it doesn't match what you think it is, if it doesn't say Amazon.com, if it says something else, then it's not truly that website.
I've noticed that quite a bit with Amazon, and I can't think of, there's a couple other ones that say, like in my inbox says something from Amazon, but and I'll hover over it and I'll see it's something completely different. So you gotta really be careful.
They what's it called? They cloud it or they
mask it.
Yeah. Yes. They kind of like, you know, camouflage it so that it doesn't look, you know, it looks legitimate at first, but then you gotta just make sure you just hover over it. Okay. And another thing is, when somebody is especially asking for your information, your financial information, your personal information on the phone or by email, I'd stop to ask yourself, who am I really talking to? So we're going to do a role playing. Who'd like to role play with me? Anybody? And you are?
Laura.
Laura, thank you so much. Nice to meet you. I'm going to pretend to call you. Okay, well, I'm going to call you. And then we'll go from there. Okay, Laura, so I'm going to call you from the credit union. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, this is now from Vibe Credit Union. May I speak to Laura?
Well, you didn't tell me who you were, so I will say it's me.
Okay, fantastic. I am calling because we've noticed some suspicious activity on your account, and I'd just like to help you make sure that they are legitimate. Could you please confirm with me your account number?
No.
Absolutely not. I should already have it, right? If I had her phone number and her account already opened up on my screen, I should already have her account number. She shouldn't have to confirm anything. We're going to turn the tables. You call me, please. Hi, this is Nauk from Vibe Credit Union. How may I help you? So same thing. You're going to say you see some suspicious activity.
Somebody just called me on my account that I had some suspicious activity, calling to verify.
Perfect. Now, because I can't see you, Laura, over this computer screen, I can't see you to confirm, I need to ask you a couple questions. So I'm not going to ask her for her account number because she shouldn't give that to me over the phone either. But I'm going to ask her, like, I noticed you went shopping yesterday, which is great. You ran around, did some errands. Could you please tell me one place that you went to yesterday and that you used your debit card for? Right? Only she would know where she went yesterday. So these are called out of the wallet type questions because a fraudster would not know that. Right? Unless they stole I mean, unless they stole her online account and could view it, but up to this point, we don't know that has happened. So I could ask her maybe, I noticed you get your direct deposit here with us. Fantastic. Could you please confirm with me where it comes from? Maybe her employment, her Social Security, whatever it may be. Okay? So again, fraudsters should not already have those things because it's not in her wallet. Like if she got her wallet stolen, they wouldn't know that. But they would have her debit card. They would have her name and address. But I shouldn't ask those kinds of questions because they would have it, right? Okay, any?
When you ask my security questions, they'll also.
Yeah, so she could have security questions specifically with us that I would also have up on my screen. You know, is security questions that she set up herself. Good, good. Thank you, Laura.
One more thing.
Yes.
I notice when I get calls, they'll always ask for my husband, and I always ask who's calling. I never say he's not here or whatever, but I always ask who's calling.
So why is he calling? Okay, so they're calling and asking for him, but then are you on the account?
I could possibly be, not all the time.
Okay.
But, and a lot of times I know not to use the word yes.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Yes, yes.
No, but yeah, I agree. Because they say that they can record snippets of your voice saying certain things and then can turn around and manipulate it, that you gave authorization. Yes, I would say, may I ask who's calling? And if they don't want to tell you, then hang up. And here's the thing. I know we were raised to be polite. I know we were raised to answer every phone call that, you know, that comes through our phone. And I said this to my older brother the other, you know, some phone number came through my phone and I didn't pick it up. He's like, why didn't you pick it up? I'm like, because I didn't recognize the phone number, so I'm not going to pick it up. He's like, but back in the day, that's what you did when the phone rang. You picked it up and you said hello. I'm like, yes, but there's so many scammers out there. I'm not going to waste my time answering a call that says scam most likely or some number from out of state, and I know I don't have any friends or family in that state. Why would I pick it up? So my advice to you is this, or our advice to you is this. If you don't recognize it, it's okay. You don't have to pick it up. If it's important, they'll call you back or they'll leave a message, right? So absolutely, that's what voicemail's for. Because sometimes they can use these machines that spoof the phone number to make it look like it's coming from Vibe Credit Union. Again, another way to camouflage the true number. There are machines out there that you can buy out there for whatever reason that you would need it for, but scammers use that to camouflage their real number and make it seem like we're calling you. So again, from your financial institution, please, you know, be wary if somebody's posing to be your branch, your local branch, because we get that all the time. Right, Mary?
That's right. We see them all the time. Some of the things that we've seen recently at the credit union is somebody is calling and they're saying that they're from the state police, that there's a warrant out for your address for you. You have to pay them this money right away or we're going to prosecute them. We just had one last week with a member. She was told to take $6,000 out of her account in cash. And she was going to be sending it to them. I don't know why you're going to be sending it to them. So I kind of like stopped her and I'm like, you know, I just want to let you know there's scams going on. Are you on the phone with somebody right now? Are they forcing you to do something right now? Time urgent. And she goes, no. And I go, nobody's on the phone with you. And I go, you're not being pressured into doing anything. And she just froze. And I go, I just want to make sure that you're not getting scammed. Do you want to go ahead and proceed with the transaction? She goes, yeah. She went to her car. We gave her $6,000. She went to her car. She was sitting in her car, and she started thinking about it. And she called her husband, and while talking to her husband, she realized it was a scam. And she came right back into the credit union, deposited the money into her account. I gave her a big hug. I go, you did the exact thing that we want you to do. I want you to think about the transaction to see if somebody's pressuring you into doing something right away, that should be a big red flag for you. And if somebody's calling and they want cash, there should be no reason that they want cash. So that was one of the scams. Another scam that we've had, I have a member that received an email stating that he owed for a credit card from a collection agency, $6,000, $6,241 I think was the exact amount. And he told me, he goes, is this a scam? And I go, I don't know, let me look up the name of the collection agency, and I looked them up. It looked like a legitimate collection agency, but I was not convinced that they were. And I said, well, why don't you tell them to provide you with a statement of what you owe? How much do you owe? From where is it? I want to see some details. What did you purchase on there that went to this collection agency? They could not provide them with anything. And I said, that's a scam. They're trying to collect from you, but they cannot provide you with the details or the original contract that you might, maybe you had something with Chase and you didn't pay it and then it gets sent over to a collection agency. They should be able to provide you with that document stating that you financed $6,000 or $5,000. And then there was another one just recently, and this was a text message one of my members received. He says, I need to send my friend's widow some money. She's starting up a business. It's going to be out of the country. And I go, well, how do you know this person? I go, have you talked to her on the phone? And he goes, no. And I go, how do you know it's her? And he goes, well, on the text it says that it's her name. And I go, but how do you know it's her? Like, have you talked to her? And he goes, no. And I go, so I started looking up the name, and I go, well, did she live here? And he goes, no. I go, did she live in this city, in this state, this city, in this state? And he's just sitting in my office, and he kind of drew a blank on his face. And I go, you haven't talked to her? And he goes, no, I haven't. And I go, you're being scammed. And he goes, the reason why I'm looking at you the way I am right now is because I've already sent her $5,000. And he goes, and I was going to send her another 10. So I'm like, that $5,000 that you sent her is gone, but you saved yourself 10. And I go, next time, just be careful. Don't, just because it says that it's from Mary Pytel or it says that it's from your friend, don't be convinced. Talk to that person on the phone. Call them with the number that you have, not the text number. Whatever number you have in your address book, on your phone, call them from that to that number.
Thank you. You hit it right there, the fourth bullet down.
I have a question.
Yes, Dawn.
Are the tellers in our banks educated and trained to ask probing questions when somebody comes to the counter and
Yes.
wants to do a big withdrawal? So
Yes.
that they, you know, okay, I'm in there, like I've got to come in and I got to withdraw this large sum to pay my winter taxes in February. If I don't have that document or I don't say, are they going to be asking me some type
If
of
you're going to
questions?
want
Not
cash,
nosy, but
Right.
if
for
you want
cashier-
cash, that's a red flag for us. There's no reason that you should need these days cash. You can, if you're paying taxes, we can issue you a check. We can see who that check is payable to. But if you say, I need $6,000 cash, don't be offended. We're just trying to protect you. We just want to know what's going on, why you're using this money, why you need cash. Maybe somebody is working on your house and putting in new windows or something, and you want to pay them cash because you're getting a discount. Just let us know that. That's all we need to know. And then if there is a situation where we see like you're not answering a lot of the questions, there's a form that we provide you before you withdraw that money, and it says things in there like, are you being coerced? Is this something that's very urgent for you? They have to do this now. And there's a statement in there, think about it before we do anything. And they're supposed to take this form, they go sit down in the office, they kind of read it over, it gives them time to like think about it, and then they can discuss it with us. Don't feel like we're picking on you, we want to know what's going on. And you're like, we want to know what's going on because we want to make sure that you're not being scammed.
providing that service.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was up at Home Depot a few months back getting a gift card, substantial amount, and the cashier asked me, she said, did somebody ask you to buy a gift card?
Yes.
Yes.
And that wasn't
another-
the case,
yeah.
but it was appreciated.
Yes,
Yeah.
because that's another way of these scammers who want to get money from you because gift cards are untraceable. Once you buy it and activate it, anybody can find it off the street and it's theirs.
And there's
Once
no
you
way
give
to
it away,
detect it.
yep, there's no way to trace it. Sure you get a receipt that you bought it, but it doesn't matter because you just bought it. It's non-refundable. So if someone's asking you either for a large sum in cash or by a gift card that's untraceable, those are red flags right there. I'm sorry, but DTE is not going to accept gift card for a payment before they shut off your energy or whatever it is. Legitimate people want to check. Again, traceable. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so that was the fourth bullet. Fifth bullet is, so again, really the thing is, this is your money, right? Ultimately, it's your money, it's your decision, but we're just trying to help facilitate that it's legitimate and that we're protecting you from scamming. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. We can't stop you from doing what you need. But yes, so whenever we also see questionable mobile deposits, there's a scam going around called card cracking. So I'm going to give you an example. My son and I are on his account. He's the owner, he's a minor. I'm his custodian, his parent on it. We both have equal, undivided access and ownership. And I can view it just as he would, and I can withdraw money just as he would. However, we're the only two owners on the account, yes? So if his friend comes up to him and says, yo, Kingston, I just got a new job, but I don't have my own account. Can I deposit my check into your account and just withdraw my what I need, and I'll give you, $20 for your trouble? That's a big no-no, because if my son were foolish enough to do that, give him his debit card with the PIN to deposit at the ATM. No, that's no good, because the ATM's not going to know it's not him doing that right away. It takes time for that transaction to get viewed by a human being back at headquarters to view that check, right? So by, as soon as he deposits that check into the ATM, most ATMs will give you a courtesy $100, $200, whatever it is, cash back right away. So let's say his friend deposits that check for $500, takes out $200, right? And then by the time 3 days later, our human being at headquarters sees that check that doesn't have Kingston's or Nauk's name on it, rejects it for the whole $500. So now who's on the hook for that $500? Me and Kingston. And in the meantime, that kid took $200 already. So we're already out $200 plus the balance, right? So that's called card cracking, because they use the legitimate card with the legitimate PIN, but they're not even on the account. So unless we, and I teach high school kids too. I tell them that all the time. I'm sorry, but your best friend's going to have to go find a different source to get his money, because he's not on the account and you don't want to get in trouble. Okay, so anytime you do questionable things like that, especially with minors, all joint owners and the local PD will be made aware of this, because that's a questionable transaction, right? And if you continue to do that and give out your debit card number with the PIN, that's not fraud, my friend. That's not fraud, because you gave it out. Okay, so basically the ABCs of fraud is be alert, be aware, and confirm everything before you do it. Okay, next page. So now we're going back to like accounts and creating accounts. So we want to make sure that the passwords and the usernames and IDs and things are easy for you to remember, but hard for someone else to figure out. There's a lot of fraudsters out there, a lot of hackers who are too smart for their own good. If they could only use their powers to do good in this world, right, we'd be in a much better place. I'm not that smart. I don't know how to hack. I can barely even hook up a computer to a projection. I mean, I'm old school like that, I guess. But the technology and the progression of technology has made our world much more convenient, wouldn't you say? However, it has also opened more opportunities for fraud and for those who don't have good intentions. So make your usernames and passwords easy for you to remember, hard for someone else to figure out. I don't know who's on Facebook. I am, because I'm old, my son says. Older people use Facebook. But on Facebook, there's these surveys going around. Get to know your friends and answer these questions. Where did you use, what was your first, your name of the street that you used to live in, your first grade teacher's name, pet's name, and all these fun things you can learn about your friends, right? Unbeknownst to you, those are the same questions that you would use as security questions for an account that you might have opened up with somebody, like, Amazon or something. So, I'm sorry, but my Facebook friends, if y'all already don't know me by now, you're not going to know me by these survey questions either, right? So please be wary of those kinds of surveys to prompt you to answer questions that you might be using for your passwords. Okay, there's also a software out there called Keeper that helps for you to manage your passwords, because I know we have tons of passwords, and it's hard to remember what I had for dinner last night, let alone how many passwords I have. They recommend that we don't use the same password for every single thing that you open. That's also a good thing not to do. And Keeper is one a legitimate manager, password manager that you can use to keep all your passwords in all one place. Oh, I already said that. If it's not fraud if you gave your information away. Okay, authentication means this, and this is very important to know if you're on the computer a lot. So you saw my laptop. Sometimes I work from home. Okay, so when I work from home, I have to log on to my company's network by VPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. So it's the Vibe network, right? So then I have to, the icon that my IT department already downloaded onto my laptop pops up, and I have to log on using my company's password, username and password that's unique to me, right? And then a second security feature is the authentication, two-part authentication, where then it texts me to my personal cell phone a code that I have to type in to verify that it's me. Okay? So again, my job wants to protect me and them from unauthorized usage on my computer, right? Even though I don't have member information, I still have proprietary information that I work with. So the system, if I'm logging on, will allow me to log on if I can confirm the text message code that is sent to me to my cell phone, because they have my cell phone. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, if you're sitting there on a Friday night shopping online and these ads pop up, and they do, and they'll ask you and they'll tell you, oh, you got to update your software, or oh, something's happening. Let somebody, like a professional or a Amazon, no, not Amazon, Microsoft tech support help you, right? So then they'll give you a phone number. They'll even give you a link to click on it and let them remote in to help you. Oh my gosh, your computer just froze up. What are you going to do? Out of fear that something's going to go wrong, or out of fear that you can't continue doing what you're doing, you might click on that link, or you might call that 800 number, and that would be a no-no, because they are fraudsters waiting for you to do that. Yes, there's phishing, absolutely, sir. Yes. What is the rule to shut off count to 10 and turn it all back on, right? That's the safe way to do it, right? Do not click on it, because they've spoofed that phone number to pretend that they're tech support, and they're going to if you let them remote in, boy, they're going to have full access to all your passwords and all your usernames and all your accounts, and they will wreak havoc. There is a most recent movie. So I love movies. I love action movies. But I don't like the ones where they glorify robberies. That's the only one I don't like, because they do that a lot. Right? But there's a recent one with Jonathan Statham. Y'all know who he is? He's a martial artist, action star. Yes. Yes, that's exactly where I'm going with this. What's your name?
Marvel.
What, your name was Marvel?
Yes.
Oh, really? That's cool. Like Marvel Universe?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you should be able to get royalties, right? Yes, it's called Beekeeper, and I don't want to give you the whole movie away. It was on Netflix not that long ago, so I don't know if it's still there. But it's very good. It talks about fraud, and if you know anything about Jason Statham, he's an action star. He's going to go and find these people and kick their butts, and he does. So, anyways, that's what that is.
Yeah, it's a realistic.
Absolutely, a realistic depiction of what's happening in this day and age. So that's.
I just want to say something about that, because I have another story to tell you.
Yes.
So we had a member, and I know her very well, longtime member. She calls me and she goes, Mary, I think I did something wrong. And I go, what did you do? And she goes, well, Verizon gave me a call. Or no, AT&T gave me a call. And they were switching the plan. I'm like, why are you switching a plan? Oh, because they can get me a better rate. And I'm like, so they're calling you, you're not calling them? And she goes, no, they called me. And she goes, and I was on the phone with them for 2 hours. And she goes, I was so stressed out about being on the phone with them. I just want to get them on the phone. So I was giving them any information that they want. She goes, I gave them the information to my computer, to my online banking. I gave them my username. I gave them my password. They got into her account. They transferred over $11,000 into her checking account, and they were getting ready to take it out. And I go, and she goes, and I felt like, uh-oh, there's something wrong here. And she goes, I gave you a call back. She was crying on the phone. And I'm like, don't worry about it. You called me at the right time. Let's disconnect your online banking. We'll change your password. We'll change your username. They're not going to be able to do anything. And I go, and we're going to get you a brand new account number. So they won't have that information. But it was because she called me to let me know I could stop it. So if something like that ever happens to you, call us, call your bank, call your credit union, and let them know what's going on. There's a lot of things that we could stop before they process.
Absolutely. Thank you. Something happened to me, actually. I was a treasurer on a board out in Royal Oak, and I was just talking to my president on the phone about an upcoming event that we were planning. After I hung up, I received an email from her stating that she would like me to transfer, wire transfer some money to some company. And I was like, well, that's really weird because I was just on the phone with her. And why didn't she say anything? And I don't know who this company is. And I noticed her email was not from the usual email address I get from her. So what I do? I called her on my phone, the number that I have for her. Because I just got off the phone with her, right? So I should know. So when I asked her, I said, hey, Vonnie, I just got your email. I don't know, what is this thing you want me to send? She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I said, well, then I have some bad news for you. Your email was just hacked, and I got anonymous, some random email saying it's from you, but it's not obviously from you. So you might want to close out that account and tell all your family and friends that you were hacked, and not for them not to reply, because that does happen. So they were phishing, again, that I wouldn't be suspicious, but it just so happened that I had just talked to her, and it just so happened that I noticed these little things that didn't seem right. So that happens. Now we're talking about personal devices like your laptops, your cell phones, your iPads, whatever else that you have. So again, Wi-Fi and the internet is so convenient, and we get so used to being able to jump on wherever and whenever, right? But again, you have to be wary about when you decide to log on to somebody's Wi-Fi. So if I was sitting at Starbucks in between appointments and wanted to jump on my computer and check my bank accounts, do you think that would be a smart thing to do, to jump on the Starbucks Wi-Fi and check my banking account? No, probably not smart. Because again, there's a lot of devices out there that I don't even know about and don't even know how to use that can catch signals. So what if there was some suspicious character sitting next to me who caught the signal and now is viewing my bank account information, my login? Yes, sir?
What happens if you go ahead and use data off your phone to do that? Can they hack that too?
I don't think so, because that's your personal data. That's your data line, like that you bought through the phone. That's more secure than jumping on somebody's public Wi-Fi. Yes, sir. And what's your name?
Wayne.
Nice to meet you, Wayne. Thank you for that good question. Yeah, so just be a little weary of when you jump on somebody's Wi-Fi and what you will be doing on your phone or said electronic device when you're on somebody's Wi-Fi. I mean, if you're just going to check Facebook, then what's the harm in that? But did you have a question?
I don't know, my daughter, I wasn't with her, but she said something about our bank account, our finances and that, was somebody into it. So we went to the city hall, and all I did was give my social security number, telephone number, and our address, our name,
Who did you give that to?
at the city hall.
To the City Hall personnel?
Yeah.
Why did you do this?
And what does the City Hall have to do with your bank account?
The other day, well, you don't know.
I don't know.
This is my son-in-law.
Oh, hi.
She got the information, I didn't, but I'm just wondering, you know, why, and so we gave him our social security number and all that, you know.
At the city hall or at the?
At the bank.
No, not at the bank, at the city.
That was
You went with us,
the township.
yeah.
That was for your voting.
Oh, that was for voting?
Yes.
Okay, the voting, you would need your ID, but they
Yes.
wouldn't need your social security number. I wouldn't give that out to anybody but your doctor, maybe the IRS when you're filing taxes. But nobody really should know your social security number but your doctor. Okay, yeah. Because that identifies you as opposed to me. Like that's our way of differentiating ourselves, right? So my son has a different social security number than me, my husband, and we all have different social security numbers. But medical records and taxes, those are the two main places that would always need your social security number. Schools, yeah. I'm sorry?
It's pretty simple. They just want to get paid. They take your license.
Yes, right. But some places shouldn't have your social security number. Like,
We've had the doctor get hacked before, and then we get a letter saying,
yes.
Oh, that's happened.
Unfortunately, yes, it happens.
AT&T's got
Yes,
hacked.
everybody. So again, these hackers are so smart. They hack. Their confidence is so high. They'll hack the biggest company that they can do, right? That they can get their hands on, and they'll do it because
See,
they're.
who just bought Beaumont?
Oh, Corwell Health.
Corwell?
Yep.
Yeah. got a
So,
letter from them.
whenever there's a data breach, the company will send you a letter saying that there was a breach. Potentially, your information would have been compromised. Here's a year free subscription to Lifeline or whatever whatever credit monitoring system.
Are those legitimate letters though? Or can you trust those?
I would, well, you can trust them if you have an account with Corwell. So I get like texts and emails all the time from people that I don't even have an account with. But because I know I don't have an account with them, I don't reply. Like I get this text all the time saying, oh, your shipment, your order's been received and your shipment has been delayed or whatever. Click on this link to release it. I'm like, first of all, I don't even have a PayPal account, so you got barking up the wrong tree. Exactly. So again, phishing. But if you have an account with Corwell Health or whoever it is that it was potentially hacked, that may be true. And then do your research to find out if you, well, first of all, y'all know that you can freeze your credit reports, right? Okay. So if you freeze your credit report, absolutely free to do, then your information, your credit information will not be susceptible to compromise. And so your credit report has your social security number, your addresses, all your loans that you have out there. So
If somebody wants to get into your credit, they will call you. That credit reporting company will call you and say, look, I'm getting an inquiry from Lake Orion
Yep,
Ford.
yep.
that you're
Is
that
this
you're buying a
you?
vehicle.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if legitimately so I had to buy a new car a couple years ago because I encountered Mr. Deer on a dark country road. So I had to buy a new car. So I unfroze my credit report so my credit bureau, my credit union could pull my report to get me approved. And I didn't know which credit bureaus they were going to pull from, so I had to open all of them. There's 3 of them. And then once I was approved, I froze them all back up again. So now I'm good for the next time I need to apply for something.
When you do freeze your credit report, they do provide you with a PIN number that you could give the credit union or the bank so they can open up your credit for that credit report. So just to let you know, if you do receive a PIN number from the credit reporting agency, keep it in your file so you will be able to give it to your financial institution so they could pull your credit report. If not, then there's a process that you have to go through to get a PIN number.
I have a question. Talking about just the subject before that, and we'll talk about Corwell Health. They give you a year's free subscription. At the end of that year, does that subscription go away, or do they renew it and charge you for a new continuing subscription?
I would think it would be an option to renew, yes. So again, it's a personal choice.
Yeah, because
they're
that's
gonna
happened to a lot
send
of
you a
people.
letter.
That's happened to AT&T.
Oh, I'm sure,
That's
yes.
happened to-
Because they're companies just like,
Yeah.
they're just individual companies, they're not susceptible to these crazy hackers who are super smart. What were you about
Yeah,
to say?
so they'll send you a letter to ask you if you want to renew for a charge of so-and-so. That's what you should be receiving.
Okay, thank you. So back on this, personal device security. So let's say I was at the Starbucks, right? And if I was sitting alone with my laptop, I would buy these like cables. You've seen them where you can lock it to your laptop and then lock it to the table. Hopefully the table you just can't lift, right? But that's a way to physically secure your laptop. But there's other ways, passwords. It's the same thing with your phone. There's always a face recognition or a PIN number to unlock your phone, right? And every time you walk away from your computer, you should lock it. And if you're alone, if someone's with you that you trust, again, lock it. But like same thing like with my son. Whenever I tell him, if you're out riding your bike, please lock it up. Don't just let it sit out in front of the store for anyone to take. Same thing with your computer. Don't just leave it there for anyone to take. And there are these, you know, he's like, oh, it's so big, my bike is so big, no one's gonna, like, please, honey. It's super light for a big guy. You're just a 17-year-old. Someone can just pick it up and throw it on the back of their truck. But at least if you have a lock on it, it's a deterrent. It's gonna take them time, right? The time that they don't want to have to waste to pick your bike, or to pick the lock or whatever. So these are all deterrents, okay, to help protect your personal devices. Okay, moving on. Now, we already talked a little bit about presenting yourself online on Facebook and things like that to protect yourself. This was more about, you know, when you're interacting with others online and how you want to present yourself and how you want to perceive other people. So the next page, we're just talking about interacting with others online. Okay, so there are people in real life and online that don't have the best intentions. These fraudsters, these scammers, they will do whatever it is to get your attention long enough to scam you. Okay, it's unfortunate, but they exist. Social media red flags. Remember I talked about those surveys. There's also these scams, you know, because back in the day, it's funny I say that because my son always like, you sound so old when you say that. Well, I am old, okay? So back in the day, you met people through the traditional avenues, right? Family, friends, school, work. But nowadays, you can meet all kinds of people online, but you don't know who they really are, right? Because you could vouch for your neighbor's nephew, right? Because your neighbor lives next to you, and the nephew, they come over all the time, right? But these people online, you don't know them from Joe Schmo. You don't know them from anybody. They could be in the street next to you, the neighbor next, the subdivision next to you, the state over, the county over, the country over. You don't know who they are. And they're not going to present themselves in such a way that, you know, that they can get away. They're going to try to get away with it, okay? So here's the thing. We all are human beings. We all have emotions. We all want attention. We love getting attention from people, right? We like to have, you know, common interests and things. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this world who hide behind that phone, hide behind that app, hide behind that computer, and will lead you on. It's so sad that we see it all the time. People get taken for thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, and they haven't even met this person in real life. Romantic scams are out there. Mm-hmm. They will play on your emotions. They will whisper sweet nothings to you and give you attention for months and months until the one day they're going to ask you for money to help them. Because, oh, my car just broke down. Oh, I want to come see you, but I don't have the money. So can you please send me $2,000 and I'm booking an air ticket to come see you. People fall for it. What else? Grandparent scams. Yes, Laura?
I was going to say something about a grandparent scam. Yep. I can tell a story that happened to my dad. My nephew, his grandson, my dad got a call saying that his grandson was in jail, and if he didn't send bail money, he was going to sit there. And my dad, of course, knew. He says, well, I guess he's just going to sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were trying to get money from him.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It could be some, you know, detective in small Calhoun County in some Arkansas state, or it could be some scammer from another country pretending to be. Or you can, yes, your loved one is here. Please send us either by gift card or by wire transfer, and we will release him or her. So what do? Hang up the phone and call that source. Call that grandson. Call that niece or nephew and make sure they're okay before you, again. One of my other workshops, they're like, well, where are their parents? Call their parents, So yes, but again, because we were raised to be nice and courteous and, we're not rude. We don't want to hang up on people, but sometimes you just have to. There's also these scams that they will approach you. Let's say you're out raking your leaves. We were just talking about raking leaves. What if they approached you in your driveway and was like, oh, it looks like your driveway needs to be done, Marvel? I'll quote you, $2,000, and I can repave it for you. No problem. I just need, half down or whatever. What are you going to say?
I'm going to say no.
No, thank you. Bye. Get in your house, lock that door. Okay? Don't even need to talk to them anymore. Yes, Laura, did you have something else?
A lot of times, too, when people call me, I'll say, I can't talk right now. Give me your number and I'll call you right back.
Yes.
Of course, they're not going to give you
Of course. Yeah. They're going to hang right up because they don't want you calling them back. And if you're going to call them back, don't call them back on the number they gave you. Do your own research, call DT directly, call Vibe Credit Union directly through your own research, not what they're telling you. Yes, ma'am?
There was just recently that DTE scam in Rochester where they finally got in and murdered the guy.
Yeah.
They said
Some,
he had a leak.
yeah.
Right.
That's the-
Sometimes they work alone, sometimes they work in pairs. So again, you know, again, there are lots of great human beings out there, lots of humanity stories out there, but typically, if it doesn't, you know, feel right, if you don't want, you know, you got your own personal space, if they get a little too close, hey, that's far enough, that's close enough, you know. So again, personal feelings. Be your best, I always tell this to people, be your best version online as you would in real life. I'm sure you don't want to be catfish as you know, don't catfish others. Do you know, I want to know what catfish means? Catfish means pretending to be somebody that you're not. So I could be some 60-year-old male, 250 pounds, watching the Lions game on TV and pretending to be a 25-year-old female, a model. And I could be pretending to be that and talking to you on the phone or on the internet trying to get you to send me $2,000 for an airfare ticket.
And I want to tell a story on that because my husband works at a library, local library, a little bit further out of here. And he met this one guy there, and the guy was online with somebody that he met that he wanted to have a relationship with. And he was sending her, you know, all these gifts and everything like that. And my husband kept telling him, and he's like, that's not a woman on the other side. That could be some 12-year-old kid in Hungary in the basement on his computer pretending that he's this young woman, you know, she was really pretty and everything. He was showing her picture. He's like, no, that's a scam. That's a scam. But it's up to you to say, yes, I realize this is a scam and get out of that. And he eventually did, but then he found somebody else. So it's really up to you to say no.
That's right.
And somebody once told me this, and I remember this, and you know, if something feels off, you have the right to walk away from it. You don't have to provide them with any excuses why you're walking away. Just walk away. Hang up the phone. If you're in some place and you just don't feel right with this person, just walk away, say excuse me, and just walk away. It's okay. It's okay to do that.
Yep, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to hang up that phone.
Yeah, it's okay.
Whatever you need to do. Okay, so we already talked about some of these common scams on that next sheet. So we talked about, you know, oh, we get this all the time. We get an unexpected check in the mail by FedEx for, let's say, $6,000, just enough to pique your interest. But then it comes with a catch. You got to send back $100 or $200 to pay for the administrative costs because of this lottery winning that you're about to get. No, I'm sorry. If I won, I won. I shouldn't have to pay you anything to get the money, right? But people fall for it all the time because it must be real. It came in a FedEx package. You don't understand. They send out these thousands in droves and hoping to catch one or two, and they make their quota for the day, and that check is fraud. So again, if you're not quite sure, I had this young lady when I was a branch manager at Chase. Before I came to Vibe, she thought it was real, and she deposited it because she didn't go to the ATM. She didn't go to the teller. She went to the ATM and deposited it. And then she took some out later and gave some to her brother. She thought it was a sign from God. And then by the time that check came back, she came to me, and I was like, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but that was fraud. And if you would have brought it to our attention before you did something with it. So unfortunately, that happens. Yep, so no, and then the next thing is know who you're getting a shipment from, know what you're not expecting so that you don't fall for that phishing scam. Vishing is by communication by phone that we were talking about earlier. Smishing is by text or email that I talked to you about earlier about my PayPal account. Click on this link. No, I don't have a PayPal account, so that's wrong. And then updating your software or anything to get access to your computer. So any way that they're going to use a scare tactic, pretending that they're from Vibe or the IRS or federal government or police or anything like that, that is what that is. Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned about card cracking. Do you think NAUC123 is a good password?
No.
No. It's just as bad as password itself, right?
Or password is a wrong password.
Password is not good, and NAUC123 is too easy. Okay, and then we talked about all those different definitions. And then the last page is, we just got some more tips for you. So we have some free information on our website. I've got some pamphlets back there for you. please feel free to navigate any way that you feel most comfortable. And then the credit bureaus also, you are entitled to 1 free credit report annually at each of those 3 credit bureaus. So please do that to make sure that you are not already a victim of fraud.
And
How would you start that process? Literally call them
you can call them to get a free credit report.
once a year?
or you can email them.
Or you can email, yeah.
If you're a Vibe Credit Union member, you can go into online banking, and we actually have your credit report on there. It's a soft pull on your credit report, so you can see your credit score, and then you can see everything that's listed on your credit report. And we provide, Experian is the credit bureau that we have provided from, which is the most used. Experian and TransUnion are the most used credit reports with financial institutions.
And soft pulls don't decrease your score. Hard
score.
pulls do. Hard pulls is when you actually apply for something that impacts your credit score.
That Experian was hacked too.
Yes, it was.
Then again,
Yeah, so it just-
Soft pulls, yep, soft pulls from your credit bureaus do not impact your credit score.
so what exactly is softball?
Soft pull is what she just said. When we
So I
pull
can
it-
see your credit report. So when you come into the credit union, you're applying for membership, I can see your credit report. I can't see your credit score, but I can see your credit report. That's a soft pull on your credit. So I can see everything that's listed on there. A hard pull is when you're actually applying for credit, say a credit card, an auto loan, a home loan. I see your credit score and I see your full credit report. And when I see the credit score, it's a hard pull. It will reduce your credit score by about 6 to 7 points.
when you apply for something. Yep.
When you apply for something, and it comes back in a couple of months, as long as you're not applying for a lot of credit
Yes,
in the
sir.
following months. So it's just a temporary kind of
How
thing, it
long
restores.
how long do things stay on your credit report?
I heard
7 years.
Yeah, I heard 7 to 10 years.
I've had situations where they've been on there 10, 15, 20 years.
If there is a
No bad
charge
stuff,
off,
just good stuff.
it's good stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, it might stay on there for longer than that. It stays on there for 7 years after you close the account, after your last activity on the account.
Like a credit card.
Like a credit card, yeah. Or if you have an auto loan and it's been paid off, 7 years after it's been paid off, it should fall off your credit report.
Have you heard of any issues like, say, you use your credit card to go to a restaurant and you pay for your dinner and people take all of that information off your credit card and
It happens.
it happens?
It happens, just like with skimmers on gas stations or ATMs. Again, fraudsters buy these pieces of equipment that help them do this. They retrofit a skimmer onto an unsuspecting credit union or bank's ATM or a gas station. And once you swipe your card and punch in your PIN, they've captured that. Now, the way to protect yourself is every time you pull up to a gas station or an ATM, just kind of wiggle it. You know, make sure it doesn't look out of place. We also recommend not punching in your PIN number anytime you make a transaction. So whenever I go shopping, I swipe my card as credit, even though it's a debit card. And the difference is I just don't punch in my PIN. I still sign for it like a credit card, but the money comes out of my checking because it's a debit card. Does that make sense? So debit card, money out of your checking, but you sign for it like credit, the money still comes out.
So don't use your PIN.
Don't use your PIN unless you got to get cash back. That's the only time I use my PIN number is when I need 20 bucks back from the grocery store because it'll save me a trip to the ATM, right? But so I don't.
So if you hit cash, then it still does come out of your checking?
Yes,
But
yes.
not as a debit transaction?
It's a credit
It
transaction.
comes out as a credit transaction.
Correct. And Vibe Credit Union has a third-party fraud monitoring company. I forget what they're
Falcon.
called. Falcon. Thank you. So true story. I was out shopping. I had my spa day. Okay, I got my nails done, got my hair cut. But okay, so after I got my haircut first. And the funny thing is, you know, I had my phone on Vibe, and then I tried to use my credit card, and
Take a match credit card, and then at the end of the month, they take it off.
right, but it didn't go through. My stylist said, "I'm sorry, your card got declined." I'm like, "Oh, that's really weird because I got plenty of available line." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So here, take it out of my debit card then. So I paid for it out of my checking account. Then I went and got my nails done, and when that happened, again, very soon after the first decline, it then made me suspicious because I know I have credit, right? So at that point, I got a little suspicious. Then I looked at my phone and didn't realize that Falcon was trying to call me because I had made a big purchase when I renovated my bathroom last week. I made a big purchase at the Home Depot, and now this was out of my ordinary pattern of spending. So they tried to call me to verify that this was me and not somebody who stole my card and is out treating themselves to a spa day. But I missed the call, so it didn't go through. Twice, right? When I first got my haircut and then my nails. So at that point, I called my credit union and said, oh my gosh, you know, I just got the missed call. And they're like, yeah, we just need to verify that these transactions were yours because you made a big purchase last week. And then now you're out shopping again. I'm like, oh, yes, it is me. So I didn't recognize the phone number. That's why I didn't, and plus it was on Vibe, so I didn't pick it up. But depending on who you deal with in your finances, they will have these monitoring systems for your protection, or the customer service department will try to reach out to you and try to verify that that's you. And also if you're traveling. So if you're a snowbird and you travel a lot, also we recommend that you let us know in case you're using your debit or credit card all the way from Michigan to Florida in a week's time, right? Gas, hotel, whatever, that we know that it's you and not the scammer or the person who stole your credit card and going out on the town.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, when I travel, I always notify my credit card.
That's
Yes,
great.
yes.
And the other thing you can do in your credit card too, something I do, you can go in and set up limits
Yes.
on purchases. And I have mine set at $50. So if a transaction over $50 happens on this credit card, and I have this on all of my credit cards, it will send me a text. Or they will call me. I use one credit card for buying gas because I have a motorhome and I travel a little bit. And they'll send me a text, did you authorize this
Yes.
transaction at this gas station in this town? And 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had my credit card companies do that
Yes.
for
Great.
me
Mm-hmm.
because I was out of the area. It was a location that I don't normally go to, and they're just trying to verify that
That's
it's
right.
me.
Good
And
job.
And I do that on all of my credit cards.
Great
Yeah.
job. And same thing with your online banking. So I don't know if you use your online banking when you're to send online banking to send out payments to, let's say, DT or doctor's office. I have it set that anytime a transaction is over a certain amount, or if a payment went out for my homeowners association, that it went out successfully as instructed. So all these precautionary measures and alerts and things are at your disposal. Please take advantage of them. Talk it out. Don't be embarrassed. Anything that doesn't feel right, probably not right. And again, to go talk to somebody who you can actually see and to confirm that everything's okay. Y'all have been great. It's nice to meet you. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you for sharing your stories. At this time, I would like to conclude and thank you, Ms. Dawn, for having us.